All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and today we're going to be jumping into the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
Real Madrid, just an amazing win against Manchester City in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We've got match reports, tactical breakdowns. We've even got some stuff from fans online.
Cool.
Really trying to figure out how Real Madrid pull this off.
Well, you know what's really interesting to me is they didn't just win, they dominated like a 6-3 aggregate victory over a team that, I mean, on paper should have given them a real run for their money.
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, everyone's talking about Mbappé.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, hat-trick, incredibly impressive.
For sure.
But I kind of want to, look past just the score line. Was this like a, did this reveal something new about him, or was he just having a really good day?
I think it's got to be more than a good day. I mean, Mbappe's always had this phenomenal talent, right?
Right.
But his start with Real Madrid, it was a little shaky, I think it's fair to say.
Okay.
And I think what we're seeing now is him really settling in, understanding the dynamics of the team, and starting to reach his full potential within this system.
So it's not just individual skill, it's how he's fitting in with Real Madrid as a whole.
Absolutely. And, I mean, take that first goal, for example.
Okay.
Quick reaction to that defensive error by Man City's captain, Ruben Dias.
Right.
But it wasn't just luck, right?
Yeah.
His positioning, his awareness of that space, that speaks to just a deeper understanding of how the game is flowing.
For those who maybe haven't been, super closely following Mbappe's journey, how big of a deal is this, in his time with Real Madrid?
Oh, I mean, it's a major turning point, right? I mean, there was so much pressure on him after that transfer.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this performance really silences any doubters about whether or not he can deliver for this club.
Yeah.
I mean, he's leading the attack now.
Yeah.
He's proving he can be the difference maker in these high-stakes matches.
Okay, so Mbappé is firing on all cylinders, but what about the rest of Real Madrid? What were some of the other key tactical elements that led to their success?
Well, I think their defensive strategy was just rock solid.
Okay.
They knew that Manchester City thrives on, controlling possession, creating chances through these intricate passing plays. So Real Madrid really focused on disrupting that flow.
Okay.
They didn't overcommit on attack. They stayed compact, waited for those opportunities to counter.
So rather than trying to outpossess Manchester City, they were just going to be more efficient, more strategic with their attacks.
Precisely, and it worked like a charm.
Okay.
They forced City into these uncomfortable areas, leading to rush decisions, low percentage shots.
Yeah.
I mean, City only managed one shot at goal the entire first half.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's practically unheard of for them.
Yeah, that's a sign that Real Madrid's tactics were really working.
For sure.
But let's talk about Manchester City a little bit.
Okay.
Their performance, or I guess lack thereof.
Right.
Why do you think they struggled so much in this match?
Well, this season hasn't exactly been smooth sailing for them. They've already lost 13 games across all competitions, which is, pretty unusual for them.
Right.
I think there's a few factors at play.
Okay.
Injuries to some key players, their defense hasn't been as tight.
Right.
And it just feels like they're missing a bit of that creative spark that we've come to expect.
So it's more than just a bad day at the office. It sounds like there are some underlying issues that they're going to have to figure out.
Definitely. I mean, this Champions League exit, that's a major setback.
Yeah.
Adds even more pressure to their remaining goals for the season. They're still in contention for the FA Cup.
Right.
They need to secure qualification for next season's Champions League.
Yeah.
And with a match against Liverpool coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Things are looking a little tense.
Yeah, no kidding. So Real Madrid riding high, Manchester City facing some serious challenges.
Yeah.
Before we move on to some more in-depth tactical analysis.
Okay.
Anything else from this match that really stood out to you?
I think it's worth mentioning Nico Gonzalez's goal in stoppage time.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimately a consolation goal, but real moment of brilliance from a young player who's been showing a lot of promise.
Yeah, it's a good point. Even in a dominant victory like that, you got to acknowledge those individual moments.
Exactly.
The guys that are shining through.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how Gonzalez develops, especially as Manchester City tries to regroup and find their footing for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about, the tactics, individual brilliance, the bigger picture.
Right.
But now I want to get into
the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty, Kat.
The real tactical breakdown. I think we've got some diagrams here showing the average positions of the players throughout the match.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in. All right, so looking at this diagram, average player positions throughout the match.
Yeah.
What jumps out at you?
Well, one thing I'm noticing is that Real Madrid's defensive line, it wasn't sitting super deep.
Right.
Which, against a team like Man City, known for their quick passing and attacking runs, That seems a little counterintuitive, right?
You're absolutely right. That's a very keen observation.
Okay.
Real Madrid actually used that to their advantage.
Okay.
So by keeping a relatively high line but remaining super disciplined in their positioning,
Right.
they essentially squeezed the space that City usually thrives in.
Okay.
Meaning that City's attackers had less time to make decisions.
Right.
Leading to those rushed plays and those low-savage shots that we were talking
So
about.
it wasn't just about blocking shots. It was about disrupting their entire, build-up.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, look at where Real Madrid's midfielders are positioned.
Okay.
They're clustered pretty centrally, forming this tight unit.
Yeah.
This allowed them to control what we call the second ball.
Okay, now for those who maybe aren't as familiar,
Yeah.
what's a second ball?
So the second ball is essentially the loose ball after a header or a clearance.
Okay.
It's like a mini battle
Gotcha.
within the larger game.
Right,
And whoever wins those second balls typically controls the tempo, the flow.
right.
And Real Madrid winning those second balls consistently meant that they could quickly launch counterattacks, catching City off guard while their defense was still transitioning.
And that's where Mbappe's speed and finishing skills really come into play, turning those counters into really dangerous opportunities.
Exactly. Now, speaking of Mbappé,
Okay.
notice how he's not just static up top, he's constantly drifting wide,
Right.
then cutting inside, pulling City's defenders out of position,
Yeah.
creating space for his teammates to exploit.
So even when he wasn't directly involved in a play, he was still having this tactical impact by just forcing City to react to him.
That's the sign of a truly intelligent player.
Yeah.
He's not just relying on individual brilliance.
Right.
He's working within the system to maximize the team's effectiveness.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, let's flip this over to Manchester City.
Okay.
What does their average positioning tell us about their struggles?
All right, well, right off the bat, I see that their midfield is a lot more spread out
Yeah.
compared to Real Madrid's compact unit.
Exactly.
So, it makes sense that they would have a harder time winning those crucial second balls,
Right.
which ultimately lets Real Madrid dictate that tempo.
And notice how isolated City's attackers are.
Yeah.
They're often outnumbered by Real Madrid's defenders,
Yeah,
making it super difficult to create those quick combinations,
right.
those penetrating passes that they're known for.
It's almost like Real Madrid built a wall around their penalty area,
Right.
forcing City to either take these long-range shots
Yeah.
or try to dribble through a very crowded defense, which
Right.
very difficult to do.
And when you factor in,
Yeah,
Real Madrid's goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois,
right.
who had a phenomenal game,
Oh, he was incredible.
you can really see why City struggled to find the back of the net.
Okay, so we've looked at average positions, which paints a good overall picture.
Right.
But I want to zoom in on a couple of key moments here.
Okay.
So remember Mbappe's second goal,
Yeah.
where he just completely outmaneuvers City's defender.
Absolutely. Textbook example of how Real Madrid capitalized on that high defensive line.
So if we slow down the replay here,
Yeah.
you can see that just before the through ball is played,
Uh-huh.
City's defenders are pushing forward,
Right.
trying to catch Mbappe offside.
Yeah.
But
But they mistimed it,
they mistimed it.
leaving Mbappe onside with a clear path to goal.
And once he's in that position,
Right.
with his speed and his skill set,
Right.
there's just not a lot a defender can do.
Right. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Right.
And from there, it's practically a guaranteed goal.
So it wasn't just Mbappe's individual brilliance. It was this combination of tactical awareness from him, precise passing from his teammates, and then just a slight defensive lapse from City.
That's what makes this goal so fascinating. It was a culmination of these tactical factors just coming together perfectly.
Now, I know Manchester City fans are probably feeling pretty frustrated after this match,
Yeah.
but got to give them some credit.
Right.
Nico Gonzalez's goal, even though it was a consolation,
Yeah.
showed some real grit.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break down what happened there?
Sure. It was late in the game.
Okay.
Real Madrid, already comfortably ahead.
Right.
Maybe eased up on the defensive pressure just a bit.
Yeah.
Gonzalez receives the ball
Okay.
just outside the penalty area.
Yeah.
And instead of panicking or forcing a shot,
Right.
remarkable composure,
Okay.
took a touch to control it,
Uh-huh.
used his quick footwork,
Yeah.
create just enough space,
Okay.
get off a powerful shot,
Right.
caught Courtois a little off guard.
Even though it didn't change the outcome,
Yeah.
that kind of a goal, that tells you something about his potential, right?
Absolutely. It suggests he's got the technical ability, the vision, and the confidence to be a real threat in the future.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how Manchester City integrates him more prominently moving forward.
Okay, so we've unpacked Real Madrid's tactics,
Right.
analyzed those key moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, what does this match tell us about, the bigger picture of European football?
That's a great question. On one hand, it reaffirms Real Madrid's enduring legacy.
Right.
They've always been a force in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And this victory just shows they're still capable of
Right.
outplaying the best teams in the world.
With all the focus on, the Premier League,
Right.
all their financial power,
Yeah.
Real Madrid's proving that experience, tactical intelligence, a little bit of that Champions League magic, it still matters.
Exactly. But it also highlights the increasing competitiveness of European football as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, teams from various leagues are closing the gap.
Right.
They're developing these innovative tactics,
Right.
challenging the traditional powerhouses.
It's not just about the Premier League anymore.
No.
We're seeing teams from Liga, Bundesliga, League One, even smaller leagues, making their mark
Yeah.
on the European stage.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this era of football so exciting.
Yeah.
The unpredictability,
Right.
the tactical innovations, the emergence of new stars.
It's a great time to be a fan.
It's a golden age.
If you like,
Yeah,
competition and surprising.
for sure.
Speaking of new stars, I kind of want to shift gears for a second
Okay.
and talk about a player who had a phenomenal game for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham.
Yes. His performance
Oh my gosh.
was a masterclass
Yes.
in midfield dominance.
He was everywhere.
He was everywhere on the pitch,
Breaking up attacks.
distributing the ball with incredible precision,
Yeah.
even driving forward to support the attack.
It's like he was the conductor just orchestrating
Yeah.
Real Madrid's play.
Seamlessly transitioning
Yeah.
between defense and attack.
His ability to read the game,
Exceptional.
it's off the charts.
Anticipates passes,
Yeah.
intercepts balls.
Wins tackles.
With such elegance and efficiency,
Yeah.
he makes it look effortless.
And he's only 20 years old.
I know.
It's unbelievable
Incredible.
that he's already doing
At
this
such a high level.
on the biggest stage.
On the biggest stage.
I mean, he's already one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary to think
Oh, it is. It is.
how much better he can get,
Scary good.
right?
Yeah.
And his partnership with Tchouaméni
Oh, yeah.
in the midfield.
Oh, they complement each other perfectly.
Joy to watch.
Providing a balance of defensive solidity and that creative spark.
They're the engine room
Yeah.
of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
They're setting the tempo,
Yeah, in the flow.
dictating the flow of the game,
Yeah.
providing that platform.
The attackers to shine.
And it's a testament to, Real Madrid's recruitment.
Oh, yeah.
They're identifying these young, talented players
Yeah.
and integrating them seamlessly into that squad.
Their blend of youth and experience
Right.
is really a recipe for success. That perfect balance of raw talent and seasoned veterans,
Yeah.
creating a team that's both dynamic and resilient.
All right, so we've talked tactics,
Right.
individual brilliance,
Yeah.
the broader context of this match.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to touch on,
The human side.
the human element of this story.
Right.
What were some of the emotional moments?
Oh, well, seeing Mbappe's pure joy
Oh, yeah.
after scoring that hat trick, that was special.
Oh, absolutely.
You could see the weight of expectation just lift off his shoulders,
Right.
replaced by a sense of, accomplishment and belonging.
And it's a reminder that even,
Yeah,
the most talented players in the world,
right.
they're still human.
They're human.
They have dreams and anxieties,
Exactly.
aspirations, all of it.
Right.
And then, for Manchester City,
The dejection was palpable.
it was tough to watch.
Yeah.
To lose in such a decisive manner.
On such a big stage.
On that stage,
That's a tough pill to swallow.
you could see the frustration
Yeah.
in their faces,
Uh-huh.
but I think also a sense of determination,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, they're a team that's used to winning,
They are.
and they'll want to bounce back from this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This defeat,
Yeah,
it'll test their character, their resilience, their ability to learn from their mistakes.
it's a reminder that
Yeah.
even the best teams,
Face adversity.
they face adversity,
Uh-huh.
and it's how they respond.
That defines their legacy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's what makes football so captivating.
Yeah.
It's not just about the wins and losses.
That's the story.
It's the human stories.
The emotional roller coaster,
Yeah.
the constant pursuit of excellence.
Right.
On that note, I think we're going to take a quick break,
Okay.
gather our thoughts,
Yeah.
prepare for the final part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We'll be back in a moment
All right.
to discuss the potential implications of this match
Right.
for both Real Madrid and Manchester City.
Yep.
And what the future might hold
For these two giants.
for these two giants of European football.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back to the deep dive. We talk about Real Madrid's win, Manchester City's struggles, but where do we go from here?
Well, Real Madrid, the future's looking pretty bright.
Yeah.
They're through to the last 16. Mbappe's on fire. Their system's clicking.
Right.
The real challenge, I think, is keeping up this momentum.
So not just talent, but consistency.
Exactly. Can they bring that same intensity, that focus, to every match for the rest of the season?
And of course, staying healthy, can't forget that.
Absolutely. Injuries could throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Especially when you rely on specific players like Real Madrid does.
Now, for City, it's a bit more, well, up in the air.
Yeah, this loss, it kind of showed some cracks.
Definitely exposed some weaknesses.
Got to address those if they want to salvage the season.
Right. We talked about the defense, the struggles to score.
Even maybe a dip in their usual confidence.
So where do they go from here? Tough decisions for the manager.
Big time. Do they stick with the system, tweak it, or shake things up entirely?
It's a tightrope walk, right? Don't overreact to one loss, but don't ignore the signs either.
Exactly.
For me, shoring up that defense is priority number one.
Okay.
They've been leaping goals, puts too much pressure on the attack.
Maybe some new signings in the next transfer window?
Possibly, but also becoming more adaptable on offense.
How so?
Real Madrid showed that if you cut off City's passing lanes, make them play direct, they struggle.
So having a plan B for when teams sit back and defend.
Precisely. Otherwise, they become predictable, and top teams will exploit that.
So maybe this Real Madrid loss, it's a wake-up call.
Could be a chance to reassess, make adjustments, come back stronger.
The next few weeks are huge for them.
Oh, absolutely. Tough matches ahead, especially Liverpool.
Right, that one's good.